Good morning, folks. Welcome back to the farm. I did say actually I was not going to put a video out this week even, let alone today. Noisy girls. Anyways, you've heard the global cliche, when it rains it pours. The problem with that statement is where I come from, when it rains it actually does pour. It's actually a real thing. And so some of you are aware, our youngest daughter, Finley, is in the NICU right now in Grand Prairie, and Carmen and I have been back and forth. I spent the night there last night. She spent the majority of the time. I've been trying to manage this fiasco with lambing, but we did the old switcheroo last night so she could come home, sleep in her own bed, have a shower, just do some normal human being things while I took care of Finley. Well, to add some context to how that night went, I've slept on an oily bag of rags in behind the mud tanks on a drilling rig. And I would say without doubt, last night was the worst night's sleep I've ever had in my life. Because yeah, it didn't go well. But no pity for me, because Carmen come home, she was supposed to rest. And these buggers, 9 lambs in 12 hours we had last night. And the poor lady that was supposed to be resting and sleeping in her own bed had to manage this. So I come home at 5:30 this morning, and I'm gonna have to be pretty methodical, tagging, banding, bedding, feeding, and a whole bunch of other stuff here today to try and get ahead of the shitstorm, so to speak. So I've actually got 7 ewes in the barn right now. June is in here, although she's not part of the 9 in the last 12 hours. She had 2 the 12 hours prior, and that's why I was so exhausted, was because she abandoned her lambs and she's clearly not feeling very well about it. And unfortunately it was 20 below, well, not quite 20 below, it was like 18 below. And she had them, I'm guessing right around 4 o'clock in the morning. By the time I got out here at 6, yeah, they were hypothermic, and because she wasn't paying any mind to them, hungry. And so it was a long battle, which ultimately I lost. And so unfortunately we lost 2 lambs. But I mean, I gotta hand it to Carmen for being as tired as she is, to just have 9 successful births. With, you know, one that had to be assisted. Gertrude over here, she started lambing and then stopped, and so then they had to basically intervene there. And there's a success story in all of that. What is funny, Olga and Queen over there, they were like front and center, top of the list. Like, these are going to be the first girls to lamb. And evidently that's not the case, because we've got all these other ones piled up. I remember Olga, she tricked us last year. She kept us going for a month. So, because she was all bagged up, she was wide, she was low in the belly. She kind of wandered off by herself. And then she had 2 great big, like, I want to say like 12-pound lambs. And which one of them's right here, actually, all grown up. Anyways, first things first, I got to get my book, and I got to start who's who in the zoo here. Who's boys, who's girls, who belongs to... Everybody's in the pen, so I know who belongs to who. Make sure everybody's sucked, make sure mamas are all healthy. Get tags made up, get bands ready, and get this barn empty. And get everybody back outside where they got sunshine and hay and water and all that stuff. They got hay and water in the pens, but it's just not quite the same as getting out there and getting some vitamin D outside. So I got all the tagging and banding done. There's an awful lot of bellering coming out of the barn. Next, I'm gonna get the tractor fired up, get it over there. I'm gonna get that straw bale out. It's in the doorway, get it out. And then just throw it in the bedding grounds kind of area. I'm gonna take a hay bale over to the bulls, and then I'm going to put a hay bale in the big round feeder in the lambing pad. I typically haven't been putting round bales in with the sheep, but just given everything that we're going through right now, and you know, the potential that we have to be somewhere else and not just be here, you know, every waking minute of every day kind of thing, I feel a bit more comfortable just leaving them a bale, knowing they have access to water, food, shelter, and you know, they'll be okay. And that's pretty critical here in the last, you know, final days. You know, we're looking at probably, I don't know, it might be 2 weeks, it might be 2 days until we're done lambing. But nutrition is super important, of course, in those days. So it's now like 5:30ish in the evening, and I'm gonna head to GP. But before I do, figured I better come back to the lambing pen do a perimeter sweep. You never know, things might have changed here in the last couple hours. Run to town for a couple hours and I'll come back, check everybody again. It'd be great. It'd be great if just today we just got like the majority of it done. And you know, there's always going to be a couple outliers, or you just anybody's guess as to when they're going to lamb. It'd be nice if we just got it done here late this evening, throughout tonight, something like that. And then maybe could have the rest of the Easter weekend to kick my feet up and drink tea. That'd be too easy, wouldn't it? So here's some disappointing news. Earlier today, I was in here, I put a water trough in here, filled it up with a garden hose, but the floor is squishy. So at some point, there's a crack somewhere in here. I'm gonna have to take that out and get a different water trough in here so the girls have water tonight. So I'm back here from Grand Prairie now, and baby's doing good, mama's doing good. That's fantastic. Come home, bring everybody into the barn. Once I get all the ewes in the barn, it's just chaos, right? Because I use a bucket of grain, right? And then they just come in, it's just chaos. But then even after I think I have everybody, I gotta go out with a big flashlight and shine around the whole bedding ground and make sure nobody's got left behind, because well, it's still kind of cool at nighttime, and somebody would very easily starve or freeze to death, and we just can't afford to have that. So everybody's tucked in there now. I haven't slept in like 72 hours, so I have some apple pie in the house. So I'm gonna fix up a cup of tea, a little piece of pie, and then I'm just gonna hit the hay. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic Easter weekend, and we'll see you next week.